Good morning, this is Phil from Phil-osophy. So Phil-osophy by Phil, episode 12. Part 2 of B is for business, and this is covering the messy middle bit. So in the last episode, I talked about how it started, the excitement, the ideas of getting something new, fresh and going. And that's true of all new businesses. And kind of naively, we all think everything will just work it out, just keep going, keep going. This episode is the follow-up and probably covering from the first episode of the late 80s to the 2000s. We're now in the 2000s going through to 2020 or even up to date. Back then we employed our first person, our first people, and now the business has come through in the early 2000s to more than an idea. It's actually real. Problem with that is it feels a bit real. It feels less exciting, more responsibility, and it almost becomes a little more serious. We're providing for not only myself and what became my own family, but more importantly, the families of our staff. This episode is also about growth and how hard that is, feeling out of your depth, and the bit that nobody really talks about when running the business isn't actually that fun. So on my journey with my brother, we went through the early 2000s as a PC reseller. We're selling Hewlett-Packard, L&X, some random little names. We had a chap, George, building PCs for us in the back of the office. Day by day, we got deliveries of cases, motherboards around the whole thing, and he's literally modularly building them together, probably output of 3 a day. But we were good. We were efficient. We had a few staff. 2010, we were selling PCs. We probably turnover was 3 or 4 million. And we took a chance on a small brand that were trying to look for resellers of their products to get in the business market. You may have heard of them. They're called Apple. And that, I wouldn't say was a turning point, but that was not something we did, we'd take on Apple because they're going to be the biggest company in the world. It was like, yeah, we'll try that. We'll sell that. And I think this is the first lesson of business. You know, sometimes things fall on your lap and you don't make that conscious decision. It's a little bit of luck, I've got to say. But the decision was good. It was intentional and it was a good fit. And it made sense to add them into our portfolio because the PC business was turning into a very stack it high, sell it as cheap as possible. But adding Apple ultimately was a major coup for us and has been a brand that we aspire to work with and work like almost, even through to now, 2026. It was certainly rolling forwards, 20 through to the mid 2015, 2018. And with Apple on board, we had grown and doubled the turnover and the profitability of the company. But we were in and still in that messy middle bit. So if you run a business, you just can't avoid it. You grow, you get going, you get ahead of steam, and then you get into this middle bit where you've actually got a few people, you've got numbers coming in. So instead of £1,000, suddenly your order's £10,000, and if you're lucky, you get an order for £100,000, £50,000. But we then start to talk about turnover. We talk about people. And it's almost a badge of honor in business. I've always found that people are always interested. How many people have you got? Okay. How much profit have you got? How much cash have you got in the bank? Because ultimately, you need profit to pay staff and improve their lives. You need to bank some cash so that you've got that money in the bank ready to sustain your business for the future. And just in case there's something round the corner that you hadn't anticipated, out of your control. And that hit pretty hard in 2020 when COVID struck. So by this time, my niece Sophie was on board with us, and our trainee Steve had been now with us for 15 years and was a director with us. And COVID presented a whole new challenge for us. At that time, we went from a full order book and taking orders every day overnight to nothing. Very, very strange feeling. Um, Now, we had been profitable and we had some money in the bank. And so we had an ability to think about things. But, with no orders coming through and with, at that stage, over 30 members of staff, we had some big issues coming and they were going to come pretty damn quick. It was a very tense couple of weeks. I would actually think it was the first time, and bearing in mind we started in the 80s, this is 2020, the first time that I thought our business could go bust. And that's pretty serious because we were profitable, we had money in the bank. Think about all the other businesses that don't think about that, don't control their costs, and they were wiped out completely. So whilst some people were having a good time, a welcome break from a very busy work schedule, and I get that. I think the world needed a rest. I think to have the garden blooming and nose aircraft in the skies was quite incredible time, and so I can reflect upon. But in that moment, until Mr. Sunak announced furlough, don't know if you remember that. I can remember. I think me, Andy, Sophie, and Steve all had a bit of a tear. Brings back memories. Bit of a tear in the eye when government said that we could actually keep staff on and the government would pay. Again, it was challenging because we still needed some staff to work and some were on furlough and having their best life, and that's always been something. But the key thing was we can keep this business going even with no orders coming in for a couple of months. So that was interesting. That was very interesting times. And yes, we run our business because we have a vision. We want to make some money as a business owner, as a founder. The rewards can be good, can be really good. But it can be very challenging. It can be very challenging, and you need pretty thick skin. And that's why sometimes, and I do some mentoring for people, we actually come to a conclusion that they're not fit, not fit mentally, but they haven't got the thing, the capacity and the toughness to actually run a business. It's not for everybody. So COVID, recession, wars, they do affect businesses. We think about it all the time. How's the current Iran war and America affecting supply of equipment into us? It does affect it. It increases costs of transport. We have to put prices up, or we consider prices up. And when do you put prices up? Do you jump in first of all and people think you're profiteering, or just hold and hold and hold and just do 1 or 2% here and there? What I'm saying is this is a 24/7 business. Yep. If you run your own business, you're generally not having 6 months off. You're not having a sabbatical. And if that's not for you, if you can't sustain it, if you're going to be waking up every night, it's a lot to take on. However, like life, we survive, things move on, and we make new plans for growing. Because growing is good, growing is cool. But sometimes more is a lot, more expectation. Growing means more creeks. So we fix that, we get more staff in that area, we take on more orders. And now we are at 20 million turnover with 60 people on board. We have more clients, we have bigger clients. And just recently, not only have we just done our first £1 million deal, but actually we just got the second £1 million deal, which is crazy. So shout out to my team, all of you. because we've got to get the order and we've got to get it out the door. But I digress. What I'm saying is growth is good. But how did it happen? Am I out of my depth? You know, there's another thing. This imposter syndrome is, people are looking to me. We are now providing salaries and staff and benefits to 60 families. Yeah, it's important. This stuff is real. So quite often, as a business owner, what your intention was 20, 30 years before, you're now dealing with real people's problems, HR issues, but just personal issues. Lots of people have different issues. There's loads of stuff goes on in life. And maybe that's not, again, what you signed up for. So be careful. If you're running a business, understand what growth means like, growth looks like. And the problem with growth is that everyone talks about, everyone talks about this is great, we're doing this and we got this order and we're doing that. But sometimes it's quite scary, it's quite terrifying. We don't really know what we're doing. Early on, you're close to everything. You've got 3 people in your whole company. You could talk to them in one room. We don't necessarily know what's going on in our other office or in our South African office. It's difficult. As an owner, as someone wants to control everything, you can lose that control. And things grow, things change shape. System problems, finance problems, operational problems, and I end up at the center of those things. No longer am I talking to clients or having fun on a day out with a supplier. But none of this is a sign of failure. It's almost a sign of success. If you grow, you will have these issues. Yeah. It's kind of a good thing, but no one talks about this messy middle bit of growth where it's just sometimes a lot. No one talks about it because it's not fun. No one's posting about, oh, I'm having loads of problems today with this, or I'm having this. Everyone's talking about the new orders, the milestones of people being there, the birthdays, the problem solution. You got a problem, we've got a solution. That's what, LinkedIn is full of that kind of thing. No one is talking about this stuff. Maybe people will start to listen to me. And I think that's because no one wants to say it's hard. It's scary. That's not sexy. We sometimes have to just grind it out. We sometimes have to survive that week, that end of month, get the wages paid. And to a degree, as business owners want to handle it and protect our staff from uncertainty, protect our own families even from worrying about too much. That COVID example, I would come back, everything's fine, and deep down I'm scared we might actually go bust. But I am lucky. I am super lucky. I run this with my brother, Andy, and we protect each other and we know we're on the same page. But for many of you out there, running a business is a scary place, whether you're on your own or you've got your first employee or your 10th employee. Get a mentor, talk to them, because doing it on your own is a lonely place. And I do mentor people and I know that this is the case. Sometimes they just need someone to bounce ideas off. So what's the summary? It's been tough. It's always tough. It's busy. Every week is busy. We grow, we pause, we grow again. Right now, we're growing quite a lot and there's some creaks and we'll plaster over them and we'll fix them, but then that will allow bigger growth. Where does it stop? Maybe that's episode 3. It is episode 3. So in summary, if you're going to grow, if you're going to start your business and then get it going, you are going to grow. You're going to end up where I've been, in the messy middle bit. It's inevitable. You can't control everything. You might have to let go of some of the things that you've fun, and you end up running a business. You're no longer an IT professional. You're no longer a hairdresser even, you're running a group of hairdressers, you're running a travel company, you're running a, a whatever it may be, you're now running that business. But it is part of growing, and it's a part that might make your business a sustainable business for 20 years, for 50 years, or aspirationally 100 years. So if you look at all the big businesses, like the grocers, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, they're family-owned, 100-year-old businesses. And what a great generational thing that would be to give to your kids or bring the kids in. Like we have Sophie's come in there. It's a great thing to have, to work with people you know and you love. So if you're growing, but you're a bit tired, you're capable, but you're stretched, and there's a few creaks in the business, don't worry, because success is not always about enjoying it. There are moments in time that you have to welcome the messy middle.